him like 3 minutes off the internet.
Yeah.
You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that then. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs. You know what's going on. Man, now we're after dark. No LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers. Go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhouse here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page and check out the blog section as well, as we do have a new blog up there by our very own Drew. So if you guys are here on youtube.com, be sure to hit that join button as well, hit the subscribe button, and of course, as always, share this with a couple friends. That would be fantastic. We do have an action-packed show for you guys tonight. We are going to talk a little bit of Ravens, Raiders from last night. Obviously, we got to talk some Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to talk some NBA. We're going to sprinkle some NBA in there. And we are going to talk some more Andy Dalton. Also tonight, guys, we got Graeme join us, and he will be talking some NFL Power Rankings tonight. But before we get too carried away, we got to welcome the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. That's right, Torrey Anderson. Torrey, what's going on tonight, buddy?
What is going on, Mr. Buckheister? It has been a wonderful, wonderful day. It's Tuesday. We are almost to hump day. Almost halfway back to the weekend.
Yeah, and you are all about those hump days. You definitely like Wednesday because something we haven't done for a while, Torrey, is we haven't done what does for like a while, and I feel like this Wednesday, this hump day, we got to do some what does. We haven't done it for a while. We have to bring everything back. But you know what it is. But guys, let's get into tonight's show. Tonight's show is powered by Belly Up Sports. So head over to bellyupsports.com. Check out all the other shows on there. They have hundreds of other sports shows out there. And of course, blogs. I mean, our very own Wayne G that's here every Thursday with That's Debatable is on there as well. So guys, let's go ahead and jump right into it like I was going to get ready to say. The Ravens lost a thriller last night in overtime to the Las Vegas Raiders, 33-27. The Raiders pretty much dominated and led most of the game until late in the fourth quarter. So Mr. Torrey Anderson at manhour_Torrey, did the Ravens lose this game or did the Raiders win this game? What are your thoughts on that?
Oof. The thing is Derek Carr still threw 435 yards. However, it was only 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. So I'm going to go with the Ravens lost this game versus the Raiders won that game. The Lamar had a couple of fumbles that were quite costly to the team, and it ended up costing them because what was the final score? 33-27?
33-27.
So right there, that's 2 field goals. That's a big swing and a miss for your offense.
Yeah, and I'm on the exact opposite side of things. Yes, the Ravens, yes, Lamar Jackson, we will be talking about this later. Yes, he did fumble the ball twice because, he is very, very trash. And you see Lamar Jackson fumbling right back there. But the Raiders, they really showed up late in that fourth quarter. They showed up and Derek Carr was slinging the ball all over the field. And, I mean, it is... I think they're down by 10 or 12, and they come back and tied it with 24 apiece, 24 apiece. And then the Ravens, they drove it down the length of the field with 40 seconds left. They kicked a game-winning field goal. However, then that Raiders offense drove down the field, and they kicked a 53-yard field goal to tie it, to send it into overtime. And it's not like the Raiders got the ball first and they just drove down the field and they scored. It was a back and forth in the whole game. So I got to give it to the Raiders in this one, as much as it pains me to say I think they had 2 or 3 drives in overtime because the Raiders actually drove down and they scored a touchdown when the guy, I believe it was Darren Waller, reached for it, but he was ruled short. and then they had a false start, which like pushed them back 5 yards, and then they ended up throwing an interception. I believe it was. So the Ravens had all the chances in the world, but I got to give it to the Raiders. The Raiders definitely won this game, Tori, in my eyes. So on the flip side of that, you said it yourself. Lamar Jackson had 2 huge fumbles in this game. Really momentum changers in this game. Tori, do you think Lamar Jackson is trying to do too much with the injury-riddled Baltimore Ravens right now?
Absolutely. 110%. He's trying to take the team and strap it on his back. I think because of the injuries that they have at receiver, the receivers that they do have playing are not at 100%. 100%. He is trying to, they're down to Tyson Williams, who actually Tyson Williams looked pretty good for them last night. And I had said when J.K. Dobbins went down, I'm like, right now it's Gus Edwards. I think it'll be Gus Edwards, but Tyson Williams was somebody to watch out for. And Tyson Williams looked good last night, but 100%, I think it was Lamar trying to take that team, throw him on his back, and do everything for that team. And you can't do that unless your name is like Aaron Rodgers, who has done that to a team repeatedly. But I digress. At that point, he tried to do way too much to make that team, and ultimately, that's what cost him the game.
Yeah, like I feel like every time I watch Lamar Jackson play, to take the whole trash aspect out of it, I feel like he is trying to hit a home run every time he comes on the field. I feel like he is trying to score 14 points in one play over and over and over again. Like I coached offensive line last year. It was my first time coaching the boys, but we always taught them gain 3 yards. 3 yards in a cloud of dust. We don't want to go backwards. We never want to put ourselves in the position that is not our offense. And anytime the offense gets put back behind the sticks, you have to do too much. And we saw that repeatedly with Lamar Jackson. Now, I'm not taking his athletic ability from him whatsoever. He threw an amazing pass to Sammy Watkins for like 50 or 60 yards over the shoulders. Sammy Watkins made a great catch, and like he looked like a damn good quarterback there, but then it is like he folded under pressure. So Tori, do you think Lamar Jackson just cannot handle the pressure and he needs a sidekick almost?
No, it's like I said, at this point, he put too much pressure on himself. We've all been there. Every single one of us in our life at some point has said, we need to strap this all on me. And how often does it end well for that person that does that? I know I've done it and it hasn't ended well. You start taking on too much. And once he realizes he does not have to do it all himself, that he can relax and let the other people around him help him and make plays, he'll be just fine. I think this was just a case of week one of we're down to our third string running back. I don't know what he can do. Our receivers are banged up. We have pretty much a brand new defense.
Right.
Let me try to do everything. And I think that was the case. This was actually a good thing, I think, in the long run for Lamar Jackson, because now the pressure's off.
Right. I mean, like every time when you have apparitions of a Super Bowl, there's always that pressure of a undefeated season. And obviously you get to win week one to go into a undefeated season. So let's go ahead and jump into the chat real quick before we bring up our last point here from last night games. Soup Boss himself over here on youtube.com/man-hour. Big shout out to Soup Boss. He might be joining us here on a couple segments here moving forward later in the month. He says both Ravens and Raiders lost and won the game. But the Raiders still had to make the plays to win the game. Absolutely correct. I think we both kind of agree on that, right? Tori?
Yes.
Okay. And then Don says hello. Drew says hello. Soup Boss says like the video. Everyone, yeah, definitely like it. It definitely helps the algorithm and chat all you want. You know, more chats and more people come in and talk. And then Drew comes out and says they also relied on him way too much, meaning they rely on Lamar Jackson way too much. I think you are correct, Drew. I think Harbaugh knows that he has a great athlete in Lamar Jackson, so why not utilize him for the next 3 years and run him into the dirt, right? No, Tori? No thoughts on that?
No. They're going to sign him to extension probably by the end of this year. Lamar Jackson is a good quarterback. You yourself yesterday on Wayne G's little post admitted Lamar Jackson is a good quarterback.
His numbers looked good, yes. But like I tell BC all the time, numbers lie, right?
No, that's what BC always says. Numbers lie. Numbers lie. Numbers lie.
Numbers do lie.
Which
you have to use the eye test.
I agree to a point.
Yeah.
However,
so when you just see two sets of stats,
how many MVPs does Josh Allen have?
0, if I'm not mistaken.
How many does Lamar Jackson have?
1, because Patrick Mahomes got hurt, and they felt like they needed to give Lamar Jackson thing because he had like 1,000 yards rushing.
Yeah, enough said.
and like enough said. So the last question that I have for you, Mr. Tori Anderson at @Manda_Tori, if you guys want to slide into his DMs. We saw Derek Carr explode last night. He threw for 435 yards. This is the second highest passing yards in Monday Night Football history. Are we ready to stop overlooking Derek Carr and put him as a top-tier quarterback in the NFL?
No, he's on that third tier. He is a good NFL quarterback, but he is not a great or even an elite quarterback in this league. He is a good quarterback. So I would put him on the third tier. He's upper echelon third tier, but I would not put him in the great or in the elite discussion yet. There again, it's a young season. He threw for 435 yards, but at that point, those kind of numbers, you would expect more than 2 touchdowns and 1 interception.
Right.
So he was doing everything he could to get them to where they needed to be. You got to remember, this is a team too that has a great running game in Josh Jacobs and with Kenyon Drake. So they don't need to depend on Carr every single week. This is a team that will be able to run the ball and they will have good balance.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But Josh Jacobs was injured last night. He had some turf toe or some toe injury. And Kenyon Drake kind of looked like a shell of himself, to be honest. I was not expecting Kenyon Drake just to, kind of patty cake around.
I mean, he was on my fantasy team last year, and that's kind of what he looked like last year. So, except for every couple of weeks, he'd pop up.
Right.
Like I said, I started him and Chase Edmonds because I didn't have anybody else on my team because I was loaded at receiver, and I waited to take running backs because that's what happens when you win the league.
Right. So back to Derek Carr. Every year we see him improve. Better yardage, better completion percentage, more touchdowns. He passes the eye test. But every offseason, the trade rumors happen, and he kind of gets his ego knocked down a tad bit. I think Derek Carr is the second best quarterback in the AFC West. So I think that puts him probably fourth
behind
best,
Justin Herbert,
behind Patrick Mahomes, obviously. And then I think that puts him at least in top 5 quarterback in the AFC. So, I mean, I think you have to put him as a tier 1 quarterback because I think he is the most overlooked, underrated quarterback in all of the NFL. It's just like his numbers improve every year he is out there, and he's been on some bad Raiders teams. Let's just be honest. Some bad coaching. You guys can say what you want about John Gruden. I think John Gruden is a horrible coach. Like he is out of tune.
I think everybody agrees with you that he's a horrible coach.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes, he was good back in the 90s or early 2000s when he won the Super Bowl. But what has he done for you since then? He hasn't done anything. He does not warrant that $100 million or whatever he's getting paid. Absolutely ridiculous. So,
but you're ridiculous for saying that Derek Carr's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
I didn't say the NFL. I said the AFC.
Not even in the AFC.
Really?
No.
Who would you have over him?
He's the third best quarterback in his own division.
No, he's not. He's second.
Justin Herbert is better than him. Patrick Mahomes is better than him. Baker Mayfield is better than him. Josh Allen is better than him. Deshaun Watson is better than him. And Deshaun Watson's not even playing.
So I would give you Herbert if he repeats what he did last year or even takes like a half a step back. Then I might put Herbert over
I'm going to give you
Derek
a bold
Carr.
prediction. Say Tyrod Taylor is better than Derek Carr this year overall.
Wow. Okay. I like that. So before we head to our first break here, guys, let's go ahead and finish some chat talk here. Suit Boss says that Wayne G thing was dumb. So if you guys don't know what the Wayne G thing was, Wayne G basically put up 2 blind stats. It was like it was yardage, completion percentage, and touchdowns, right? And
interceptions.
Yeah, and interceptions. And you basically had to basically pick what quarterback that you wanted. One of them was Lamar Jackson, and the other one was Josh Allen, right? And I think the majority of people did pick Lamar Jackson. They picked Lamar Jackson over Josh Allen. So, but Suit Boss, you are entitled to your opinion. Drew says, I think Carr is one, if not the most underrated quarterbacks. Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
I agree. He is an underrated quarterback.
So, would you want Derek Carr to replace Aaron Rodgers if Aaron Rodgers were to leave?
Over Jordan Love?
Yeah.
Let me flip a coin.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Suit Boss says Carr is a tier 2 quarterback. I could probably put him on the higher scale of tier 2. You know, like a 1, 2, 3 on the tier 2 thing. And then Suit Boss says, don't say Tyrod Taylor in front of Buck. He'll pee himself.
Or we'll get a lung punctured, one of the two.
Right. And then Suit Boss also comes back and says, Wayne purposely left things out of the equation and said on name alone, people think Allen 9-1 versus Jackson. So if it was a name test, people would take Josh Allen, but if it's a stat test, people will take Lamar Jackson. Do you think that's right, Tori?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's just the way it is. But guys, we are up against our first break. On the other side of the break, we have Cooking with Tori. Tori, before we head to break, tell people what Cooking with Tori is all about.
Well, it's basically me cooking up what I want to rant about, and that's all it is me just kind of ranting, talking about what's kind of hot going on in the NFL. And I definitely have some takes that I want to bake to everybody here because it was not a good week 1 for my team, and it was not a good week 1 for some of my picks either.
All right, guys. So Cooking with Tori is coming up here after the break. We also have NFL Power Ranking coming at 8:30. So here in about 15 minutes, we will be with Graeme Wallace. He will be bringing his Week 2 NFL Power Rankings with us as well. But before we get carried away, guys, Cooking with Terry is brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. Head over to Thrive Fantasy. Tori. Thrive is brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. Use promo code MANHOUR. They'll match up to $50 on your first deposit. You can also download that on iOS and Android devices. We'll be right back. And I mess up your name all the time, dude.
to you by Brooks Roofing and Siding. Contact them at 812-868-7663 or online at brooksroofingin.com. Brooks Roofing and Siding, protection you need when nature strikes.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhouse along with Tori Anderson tonight. You can find us both on the Twitter machine at manhour_Buck and, of course, manhour_Tori. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so that means Tori Anderson's fantasy clip will be released at 10:45 East Coast time right here on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/manhour. So if you guys have not subscribed to the channel yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon and click on all so you can get all the notifications when we upload the clips and fantasy clips and behind the scenes stuff as well. Speaking of clips, I do upload clips every day of the week, 7 days a week, 365 days a year at 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m. East Coast time. And of course, Fridays and Saturdays, I should say, we upload at 8 o'clock as well, since we do not have a live show. You can also catch us on the live show every Sunday through Thursday at 8 p.m. at youtube.com/manhour. Or if you're going to miss any part of the show, you can catch us on Big X Sports Radio from 4 to 6 on 96.1 FM here in Jeffersonville, Indiana. You can also catch us on Belly Up Sports every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. on their Facebook page, Unhinged Radio at 11 a.m. on their internet broadcast, and 313 The Flash. We are very, very proud to be a part of 313 The Flash, so be sure to head to 313theflash.com and check us out every Monday through Friday. You can also find us on their Facebook page at 8 a.m. So, with all that being said, guys, we are also giving away a trip to Vegas. If you are a member here at youtube.com/manhour and you are a gold member or higher, you get free entry into the trip to Vegas. We are giving away airfare and hotel to Las Vegas in April 2022, the weekend of the NFL draft. We cannot guarantee you access into the draft because it is a first come, first served basis, and I'm not going to wait eight hours in line for you. Sorry, but that's just not going to happen. But I do love you, and so we'll pay for your airfare and your hotel during the weekend. You also get to hang out with Combs, myself, Tori, and Wyatt, and I believe Nana's going to come too, because we do need a chaperone. So Nana will be there as well. So she also is a value member here of Man Hour Nation. So let's go ahead and welcome Tori back to the show as we are getting ready for the Cooking with Tori segment, which is brought to you by ThriveFantasy.com. Head over to ThriveFantasy.com. Use promo code MANHOUR on the match up to $50 on your first deposit. So Tori, are you ready for your segment here?
I'm always ready.
All righty, man. The floor is all yours. It is time to cook with Mr. Tori Anderson.
So if you are subscribed to the fantasy football section, you will legit see me actually cooking and giving you fantasy football advice, because that's what Cooking with Tori is all about. So log in, take a look, let me know what you think. And if you want some free fantasy advice, too bad. Be a $2.99 or more member.
Shameless plug.
You want to win your win your league? Just listen to me. That's all you got to do. I'm already 1-0. You know, you get that 12th pick. Yeah, I'm in a 12-team league, and when you're drafting the 11th or 12th every year, you kind of get good going out of the 12 hole. So, not a big deal there. But now let's talk about my hot takes of what's baking after week 1 of the NFL season. One, we're going to talk something about burnt. Something that got cooked and it got burnt, and it looked like the Green Bay Packer defense. They made Jameis Winston look like the greatest quarterback in NFL history, which if you go back in Green Bay Packer history, they have a history of doing. They made, I believe it was Steve Walsh, look like a Hall of Fame quarterback in the NFL playoffs back in the 90s when Troy Aikman was hurt. This is a team that progressively can never stop a mobile quarterback. For whatever reason, we are completely inept. They don't know how to set up a linebacker to do nothing but spy on a quarterback that could run. Apparently, we can't stop the run. Alvin Kamara, I'm like, if they get the run game going, we are screwed. This game is done. What did they do? They ran. They would run some RPO, and Jameis would take off. And guess what? Before you knew it, it was 17-3 at halftime, and it was already over. You could tell by the flow of the offense and the way the defense was playing that nobody knew what the hell they were doing that whole time. So Green Bay, you got left in the oven a little bit too long, and you are just burnt up, just right in the trash. Start over. Guess what? You're still tied for first place. On to Detroit. So now the other one I want to talk about, and it was one of those, it's like a recipe that you try for the first time, and you're not really sure how it's going to work or what's going to happen. So you just kind of throw it together and see what happens. And literally, that was like what the Philadelphia Eagles did in my book. So, granted, on paper, Atlanta looks like a lot better team than what they played like. On the field, they are exactly the team that they played like because they were not good. So this is an Eagles team, I think, that is more, they played somebody that may have been worse than them versus are we sleeping on them. However, it's a great test this week for Jalen Hurts, and we will see if they are for real or if they are pretenders already here in week 2. So I would put my money on the San Francisco 49ers every way I could against the Philadelphia Eagles. So I don't think it's going to end well for Jalen Hurts. And, we've said it every night so far, and we're going to quote Denny Green again. They are who we thought they are. So I don't think that the Eagles are going to be that great. I actually, in one of my picks, I had them going 2-15. The other one I had them going 0-17. I just don't think they're going to be that great of a team. They are not going to be a good team. If they prove me wrong after this weekend, I could be singing a different tune in week 3.
Yeah, Tori, I don't think you're going to be singing a different tune in week 3 because we are going to be talking about Jalen Hurts later in the show and how, I don't know, maybe just how bad Atlanta is, but we will be talking about that later. But you cooked up some good recipes, and I feel sorry for your Packers because they're going to start the season 0-2. I'll be at the game.
Oh, God.
I'll be wearing the Detroit Lions jersey.
Buck, I can still make those tickets disappear.
No, you can't. I already paid for them, Tori.
Doesn't matter.
Paid for them. Get out of here with that.
One call to the Brown County Sheriff's Department on your way into town will be like, just be on the lookout for this car.
Yeah. What kind of car do I drive?
I won't know until you get here and I give your wife that Aaron Rodgers jersey.
True
then
story.
I'll have a license plate and color and a make.
Yeah, Tori, seriously, if I drive 9 hours up there and I get arrested, I'm kicking you square in the balls. I'm not even going to joke. I'm going to be drop kicking straight in both testes. All right, guys,
you can't stay at my house.
Good. I don't want to stay there anyways. All right, guys. So we are up against the first break here. We do have Mr. Wallace coming on the show here to give us his week 2 NFL rankings, and we got much more. Of course, we got to talk some Philadelphia Eagles. So, guys, much more coming here on the Man Hour. We'll be right back after this.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhouse with Tori Anderson tonight. If you guys missed any part of the show whatsoever, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and of course, iHeartRadio. Or you can find us on Belly Up Sports at bellyupsports.com, 313 The Flash, 96.1 FM here in Jeffersonville, Kentucky, or Indiana, I should say. You can also find them on BigXSportsRadio.com. We air on that Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. But without further ado, let's welcome the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Graeme Wallace. What's going on, Graeme?
Yeah, great to be with you guys. Going to do some power rankings again, and I love talking football, so happy to be here.
All right, so before we get too carried away, tell the people where they can find your blog section and your everything else that you're doing.
Yeah, so Belly Up Sports MLB section. I know I'm talking football with you guys now, but I'm a big baseball fan as well. I've actually started writing for Jay's Journal as well. So jaysjournal.com. You can find my articles there as well. Follow me on at Bus Wallace on Twitter. Try to be kind, but if not, at least be funny about it.
Yeah, so I will link his Twitter and his blogs here in the description, guys. So be sure to check him out because, he does this out of the kindness of his heart, and we can't thank him enough. And obviously, he just doesn't pull things out of the air. Like, he does his research, and, if you're anything just like me, like, I put in 9 or 10 hours a day, like, on the show. So I know you are grinding as well. So without further ado, who do you got coming in at number 10 in the Week 2 NFL Power Rankings?
Okay, it's actually a new addition to the top 10. I have the San Francisco 49ers. They got up to a big lead against the Detroit Lions. They tried to mix in the rookie Trey Lance. I know they kind of slipped away and they allowed Detroit back into that ball game, but I saw enough from them. I think Jimmy G's motivated to play well. They're hoping he could stay healthy. They've got a lot of members of that defense back. I believe in Kyle Shanahan. I think they've got a strong season ahead of them and certainly a good start.
Yeah, I mean, they are definitely a very, very strong team because just 2 years ago, they are just removed from the Super Bowl and then had a injury-riddled 2020. So, the only thing that the 49ers are lacking right now that might kind of concern me is their running back, Tori, what's his name?
Mostert?
Yeah.
Mostert, yeah.
He got put on IR.
Mozart,
yeah. No, he got put on IR, so that could be the only red flag for me a little bit, but I definitely like the 49ers at 10. Tori, thoughts on that one?
Honestly, I think they should be a little bit higher.
Okay.
The Niners look good.
Yeah, they did.
This is a team that was everybody kind of made fun of, but literally they were down legit 9 starters on their defense last year at one point. So this, like I said, this team is 2 years removed from a Super Bowl. People are taking this team way too lightly, I think, this year. It's like I said, I have them as the worst team in the NFC West at 12-5.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if there was 4 teams that even got to double-digit wins. It just usually doesn't happen, but I'm trying not to rate them too high or too low. I definitely saw some power rankings today when I was kind of doing my research that had them in that top 5. So I didn't want to overreact too much to week 1, but I like what I've seen so far.
All right. Who do you got coming in at number 9?
So number 9, they dropped a few spots, even though they lost to a very good team. I have the Cleveland Browns. It seemed like they had that game in hand. They were up 22-10. They weren't able enough to score enough points in the second half. Also, they got burned for some long touchdown runs. The Cheetah Tyreek Hill burned them there a couple of times. I don't want to hammer them too hard for losing a game to a team that a lot of people consider to be perhaps the best team in the NFL. It's certainly top 2 or 3. However, I think it was a real opportunity for Cleveland to make a statement, actually win a season opening game, which they almost never do. And it just felt like a game that slipped away from them. So they dropped 3 spots to number 9 this week.
Tori, what are your thoughts on that?
I would agree with that one as well, just because you're playing the back-to-back AFC champions. You took them to the limit. You actually had the game in hand and then kind of slipped away. But it's the Kansas City Chiefs. There are so many weapons on that team. Can you really fault any team that blows a lead to them? No, you can't.
All right, number 8.
Okay, number 8, I got here we go. Green Bay Packers. They look terrible in week 1. However, it's just one game. I didn't want to overreact too much, so I did have them dropping 4 spots. I had them 4th in my original rankings to number 8. I think they're going to bounce back. They're playing the Detroit Lions Monday night. That's usually a get-right game for a lot of teams. No offense to any Lions fans that are out there. But I definitely think it's a great opportunity for the Packers to get back in stride. Obviously, the rest of the teams in that division also lost. Rodgers looked really poor. He didn't look good at all, but the defense didn't look good. It was just a total team loss. So disappointing, but it is just one game, and I think they'll find their stride.
So just to clarify your power rankings, just because some people do a week-to-week power rankings here, so you're doing a cumulative throughout the season power rankings, correct?
I'm trying not to be too structured about it, but I that's how I had them at the beginning, and I didn't want to. I guess I am. Yeah, I didn't want to react too much and move teams like up 10 or 15 spots in one week. It just seems a little too the sky is burning kind of reaction. So that's what I did. Some people might not like it, but get at me, I guess, on Twitter.
Well, the problem is the sky is burning in Green Bay. Like, they are the worst team in the NFL right now, hands down. So for even considering that I have him in the top 10, I would take the Jets, Eagles, and Falcons all over the Packers right now. That's why the Lions are going to win by 17 points on Monday night. Just throwing it out there.
Jacksonville lost to Houston by 16 points.
Houston's a good team.
Sunday.
Houston's a good team. They're an 8-win team.
Well, we'll see.
Welcome to what we deal with on a weekly basis.
Throw those hot takes like inferno just flying around me here.
so one comment here. Soup Boss says
he's the albino version of Stephen A. Smith.
Soup Boss says that the Browns shouldn't have slipped, even though they lost, but they played the Chiefs great. I mean, the Chiefs are, I believe you had them at number 2 last week. Do you want to defend the Browns slipping at all?
I mean, you don't stay in the same spot by losing games. There's no sympathy points in the NFL. There's teams that pass them that won games on Sunday. So to me, they're still 0-1. And if you want to talk about, pride points or looking good in a loss, then I mean, this isn't a beauty pageant. It's football. So they still lost, and that's why they dropped. So
okay. Coming in at number 7.
Number 7, I got another team that slipped down from a pretty high perch, the Buffalo Bills. It seemed like they had the game in hand against Pittsburgh Steelers. It was a defensive battle, but unfortunately they couldn't score any points, it seemed, well, other than a couple of field goals in the second half. I think Pittsburgh's defense looked really good, but Josh Allen also was pretty shaky in a couple of moments. The special teams obviously was a big play with the block punt touchdown, which really allowed them to pull away in that game. I don't want to hammer them too hard, but I had them dropping 4 spots in these rankings. Pretty big bounce back opportunity for them on the road against a division opponent, Miami Dolphins. So if they fall to 0-2, they're most likely going to continue to fall in these rankings, but we'll have to see what happens. I still have faith in this team. Disappointing start certainly, but I actually like Pittsburgh better than most.
Yeah, I think we all had them kind of at 8-win, 9 wins type of season. Tori, any thoughts on the Buffalo Bills coming at number 7?
They should be ranked right there because I don't know how you have my Packers in the top 10. I have them at like 32 right now.
It's
like
it's a long season, man. I don't know.
Typical Packer fan. Sky is falling after one game. Till Aaron comes out and says RELAX, relax. It's just one game.
He's got to have a new catchphrase for this season. I don't think he's come. It was the relax. Didn't he say something else? We're going to run the table. He
said run the table. Yeah,
he's got to come up with a new thing, maybe
haircut.
A haircut would be nice.
He's
looking
homeless.
Yes. He does. He does. Like bags under his eyes. Like I don't know. I didn't.
Shailene not letting him get any sleep at night, or what's happening with that?
Maybe not.
Maybe
he's all worried about the wedding.
I mean,
all right. So
he was on Tuesdays with Aaron with McAfee today. So
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Did he have massive bags under his eyes and a big old cigar, or no?
Oh. No, that's AJ. AJ Hawks always got the cigar.
All right, so
always got that cigar.
Just to recap the power rankings so far, at number 10, he has San Francisco 49ers, number 9, Cleveland Browns, Number 8, the Green Bay Packers. Number 7, the Buffalo Bills. Who do you got coming in at number 6?
Number 6, a team who's very impressive in week 1, moving up 4 spots, New Orleans Saints. 38-3 blowout, like I said, of the Green Bay Packers. Jameis Winston looked great. 5 touchdowns, despite only 148 yards passing, a really weird game for him statistically. He only threw the ball 20 times. They were great on defense. He really impressed me with his ability to protect the ball. Again, only 20 pass attempts, but no interceptions. He said that his favorite play of the game was a throwaway, which I thought really displayed a lot of his maturity. Right. I think he has the ability to, protect the ball a lot better. Certainly avoid 30 interceptions. I mean, that's what he did a few years ago. If he can keep that even to say 18 or something, they have a chance to be a lot more productive offense. They still have a lot of good pieces there. And I loved Green Bay in this game, and obviously nothing went right for them. So I had to reward the Saints for that good performance. Have to give them some credit. It's not just all Green Bay being bad. It was New Orleans doing some things really good as well.
Yeah, they looked really good on the defense side as well. So, Mr. Wallace, just to add some aspect of why Tori's getting upset, because Mr. Brandon Combs says that Winston is a top 10 quarterback, and they have a last dab challenge happening. Explain that challenge, Tori.
So if Jameis starts, if he has a losing record, Brandon has to do the last dab. If he has a winning record, I have to do the last dab. I don't know if you're familiar with what the last dab is.
Well, I have so many questions. I don't know. No, I don't know what that is. Can we get a quick run?
Look,
yeah,
watch YouTube videos of Hot Ones, the TV show. It's a YouTube show, Hot Ones.
Tab. Okay,
yeah.
Now I know. The context I needed. Yeah, I've seen a few of those. It's a hilarious show, and
yeah, I
last
love
one
that show.
Seems killer. So wow, you guys are braver than I am. I don't think I'd be able to handle that.
We have a wheel of death, so welcome to the man hour. So if you want to jump in our weekly picks, the loser of the week gets to spin the wheel of death, and they have to do one of the challenges on the wheel. For example, one of them is you have to chug a bottle of syrup. And the other one is you have to put a marshmallow in your mouth every minute you are on the segment of the show. So it's just a lot of fun things.
Hilarious.
So, but coming at number 6, we have New Orleans Saints. What about number 5?
Number 5, I got the Seattle Seahawks. They had a pretty impressive win over the Indianapolis Colts. It's a game they were certainly favored to win, but I really like the passing attack, Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett, and DK Metcalf. One of the more underrated duos in the league, I think. Rashad Penny got injured. What else is new? That always seems to happen. But Chris Carson is a really good back as well. I like this defense. I like Pete Carroll. Another kind of dark horse team, maybe unsung team. People maybe didn't think they were a Super Bowl contender, but I think they're kind of lurking there in the NFC, and they're prime for a playoff run.
Tori, what are your thoughts about the Seahawks jumping up 2 spots from week 1?
I have them going 13-4 and finishing second in that division. Like I said, that division is that good. Like if you could literally tell me any one of those 4 teams is going to win that division, I'd be like, okay.
Well, the Cardinals, I haven't really talked about them, but they look great. They blew out the Tennessee Titans. A lot of people thought they were the class of the AFC South, which is looking like it could be a pretty weak division. But, they won that game by 25 points. Kyler Murray looked unbelievable. So if they're the worst team in that division, it's a pretty darn good division. So pretty impressive stuff there.
Well, if you watched the Man Hour previously, you would have heard, I do believe Buck and I and Brandon all said Tennessee's a prime candidate to regress big time this year.
Yep.
Okay. So not necessarily favorites of the South, according to you guys.
No, and nope. King Henry's not even top 10 running back in the league this year.
Well, I mean, fatigue could be a real thing for him, certainly. Yep. Not a great start. He seems like one of those guys that gets stronger as the games go on and the season goes on, but I think that could be true. Maybe this is the year he kind of breaks down.
Yeah, maybe. Number 4, who do you got?
So number 4, maybe a bit of a controversial pick here, but I think they did a great job in week 1, and they beat a team that had really high, as the Pittsburgh Steelers. I had them 8 in my initial rankings. I think this defense is going to be back to the kind of steel curtain, high pressure, high turnover type of defense that Mike Tomlin typically runs, and even going back to days of Bill Cowher and back to the 70s as well. I think this has the potential to be a top 5 unit. Roethlisberger didn't look great. The running back Najee Harris didn't have a ton of yards either, but I think they could grind out these kind of wins, and the offense will find its footing eventually. If they could win games like 24-16 and things like that, while the offense kind of develops, I have a lot of faith. I think I said this last week, Buck. They've only had one losing season in the Mike Tomlin regime. I have a lot of faith in this guy, and I don't think it's going to happen this year. So maybe higher than a lot of people had them, but I believe in this team.
And I believe that losing season was only 8-8, so it wasn't technically a losing season, right?
Non-winning is what I should have said. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree that the Steelers should be in the top 10. I mean, they beat the Buffalo Bills. They come back from 10 points down in the second half, and their offense kind of came to life a little bit in the second half. But having them jump four spots is I think that's kind of a big jump, just a tad bit, just because what you had the Bills. Well, I mean, I guess you had the Bills at 3 last week, so maybe that kind of warrants it a tad bit. Speaking of number 3, who do you have at number 3?
So number 3, I have the Los Angeles Rams. Sunday Night Football, they took down the Bears. It was really a pretty disappointing Sunday night game for, I think, a lot of people. Matt Stafford looked great in his debut with the team. The defense was a number 1 unit in the NFL last year. Obviously, they lost Brandon Staley, who's the coach of the Chargers now. But I still like a lot of the personnel, obviously led by Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, a few other guys. The offense looked really smooth to me. I saw some rankings that had these guys in the top spot. I'm not quite ready to do that just yet, but I definitely think this is a Super Bowl contender. Sean McVay looks like he's got his play calling chops, his confidence going. So I really like this team.
Yeah, and judging by last week, I think the Rams do have better defenses than the Chiefs and the Bucks moving forward, especially since the Bucks lost their cornerback from last year, and that kind of puts a big hole there. Tori, what are your thoughts about the Rams jumping up 2 spots to number 3?
I like it. This is a complete football team. It is one of the most complete football teams. And again, if you told me the Rams are going to win the NFC West, I'd been like, okay, I have them also at 12-5 in that division this year. Literally, it does not matter from that division. The fact that all 4 of those teams are in the top 10 should tell you how good that division is. I mean, we haven't talked about one of them yet, but I'm assuming they're at 1 or 2. If not, I would run you right off the show.
Well, you are going to be ran off the show because the Kansas City Chiefs and Bucks are still at number 1 and 2. But I'm not going to spoil anything because I don't know. But I'm assuming, who do you have coming in at number 2?
So number 2, I kind of kept it chalk here. I have the Kansas City Chiefs. They struggled in the early part of that game against the Cleveland Browns, but they found a way to win the game. That downfield passing attack is looking as good as ever. Mahomes look really good out there. I think the defense did enough, especially in the second half, to kind of get the ball back, get a couple of turnovers there. I still think this team is definitely a Super Bowl contender, and they're kind of going to be there at the end of the day.
Tori, what are your thoughts about Kansas City Chiefs coming at number 2?
They suck. They're not a good football team. They're horrible.
They are a
Why
horrible
would you even,
football team.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I am not. My name is not Michael Buckheister. I don't take garbage takes like the Detroit Lions are going to win the NFC North.
They are 10-7. But let me speak.
Maybe next year, but not this year.
So let me speak as a Kansas City Chiefs fan. As a Kansas City Chiefs fan, as a team as a whole, they are a slightly above average team because the defense right now is just not very good. For whatever reason, the defense doesn't turn on until about week 9, week 10. And with the Honey Badger being out week 1, that shows you how big a hole he fills on that defense. Now if you're strictly judging power rankings by are they going to win and are they going to go deep? Yeah, they're definitely a number 2, if not a number 1 team. But as just a team as a whole, Tori, honestly, they are probably a 13th, 14th ranked team in all of the NFL, but the offense, catapults them up to that number two spot, in my opinion.
You got elite playmakers at every skill position. So.
Right, yeah. Exactly right. So number 1, I'm assuming it's probably the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, unchanged.
Yeah, you'd be right. It might not be the most wild thing to do, or whatever. But I think a lot of people thought they would win that game against the Cowboys in the season opener by 2 touchdowns. They won it by 2 points. But I think Dallas showed a lot more fight than was expected. Tampa's defense, I think, could fall off a little bit from the perch it was. They were playing great last year, but like you just were kind of saying about the Chiefs, this might take them a few weeks to kind of find their footing and really develop some chemistry, especially with Sean Murphy Bunting, I think is the guy who went down.
Yes.
He was a key piece for them last year. But still, they got the win, so I don't really want to knock them from that top spot just yet. They're the defending champions, and I think it just might take them a little bit of time to gel, which may seem weird because I know they brought back all their starters, but it's the first week, so I kept them on that first spot, but they're going to need to be a bit more impressive if they want to remain there.
So just some insights here. I played on a team where we brought literally everybody back because we had, I think, 3 seniors, and it took a while for everybody to learn their new roles, just because some players have outstanding years, some people have step back years, so you have to find your new role. So you can bring back everybody you want, but it still takes 4 or 5 weeks to get acquainted with like everything. And then with Murphy Button going down as well, I believe it's a rookie or a second year guy taking his spot that had very few reps last year. So Tori, Tampa Bay does come in at number 1. Are you shocked by that at all?
What I'm shocked about is you talking about it takes 4 or 5 weeks, when last night I talked about 4 or 5 weeks to get going, and you're like, no, this, like, you literally just did a complete 180 from last night.
So Tori, let me
waffle Wyatt.
No, so first things first is what I said. Mr. Wallace.
You said you were a better coach and said you were a better coach than Herm Edwards.
I am. I see things that Herm don't. So, Mr. Wallace, this is what Tori said. He said the first 4 to 5 weeks of an NFL season is like preseason for these teams. So a quarter of the season is like the preseason games, and they don't really care about these games. What I said is a team's biggest growth is from week 1 to week 2. And like Tori's like, no, it takes 7 weeks to grow.
Not what I said.
What'd you say then, Tori?
I said, because literally this was what Herm Edwards said. The preseason is to figure out who's going to make your squad. You spend the first 4 or 5 weeks really figuring out who your team is. Because it takes you that long to get into that rhythm, because you play a couple of series together. They don't play much in the preseason together. It takes the first probably 4 weeks for them to really figure out who they are as a team and what way they're going to head.
I mean, you could be wrong as a team, but whatever. We digress from that, Tori, because I know you're wrong. But that's
a big difference in what you said. Big difference.
So we do have a few comments coming up through here on youtube.com/man-hour. Stu Boss him like himself. He is asking a question for you. He says, if it's all about wins and losses, how are a 0-1 team ranked higher than 16th?
I mean, it's not necessarily all about wins and losses. These aren't the standings. These are power rankings, and I just think I still consider the Packers and the Bills to be Super Bowl contenders. Who could I pick on here? Panthers are 1-0. I'm not going to put them in my top 10.
Really?
Sorry, but I'm not.
Who else? CMC.
Who else won?
The Eagles.
The Texans won. I'm not going to put them in my top 10.
They should be top 5. They should be a top 5 team.
Easily. Tyrod Taylor's the man.
I'm just kidding.
Well, that was a surprising result for sure, but it's not. You have to really kind of do a deep dive on everything you saw and numbers, and I did try to be pragmatic about this and thorough, and I understand that, but there's some teams that are 0-1 that are still going to be in the top half of the rankings.
Yeah, just like Jacksonville State beat Florida State. That doesn't mean they're instantly a top 10 team, right?
Oh my gosh!
Come on, Steve Bosch, you know better than that. And then they said Aaron Rodgers should stick to Jeopardy, and then Don says, I agree, Aaron Rodgers needs to go. Wow, sky is burning in Packerland there. Jeez.
Jordan Love got a chance to get in to the game, but he didn't really finish
So,
off that drive, did he?
The best headline I saw was Aaron Rodgers benched in favor of Jordan Love. Like, I'm like, that's just literal clickbait at that point. Like, you're down,
Yes.
let the kid play. Like, Aaron Rodgers wasn't benched. He got pulled from the game because there was no chance.
Okay, so I do have one question for you here, Mr. Wallace.
Okay.
You dropped the Ravens out of your top 10, and you
Yes, I
moved
did.
San Francisco 49ers in there. Is there any way, like, what was your thought process behind that? Just because the Ravens, like, played a really, really good game. You know, they took them into overtime. What I think was like 3 to 4 minutes left in the overtime. And yes, the San Francisco 49ers flexed on the lines and let them crawl back in.
Sure.
So how do you warrant that?
Well, it's part to do with the running back situation. They've lost about 45 running backs in the last few weeks.
Breaking news! They just broke another tore another ACL.
No, but I mean, Tyson Williams was and a few other guys. Lattimore, I saw. They mixed in a few guys. I thought the running game looked fine, and obviously, when you got Lamar Jackson doing the RPOs, you're gonna bring in those linebackers, kind of feigning them for whether it's going to be a pass or a play action, or if he's going to keep it or what. I thought they looked fine there, but Jackson 2 fumbles there in the fourth quarter and then in overtime. They really kind of coughed up that game, I thought. And Raiders, I had them at number 20 in my initial ranking. So for them to win that game, I thought that was a really good win for them. Not a terrible loss for the Ravens, but enough to drop them a couple spots.
Right. So you do all 32 power rankings?
I do.
Oh, okay.
I mean, when we talked about this, I wasn't sure how long we'd talk about it, but I just kind of do it for my own, where I have the landscape of the NFL and
right.
stuff like
so
that.
out of curiosity, where do you have the Philadelphia Eagles after week 2? Like how much did they jump up? Because we're going to be talking about the Philadelphia Eagles coming up here, and I just want some reference points.
Honestly, there was a bunch of teams kind of in the middle there that I kind of had bunched together. I had them at 25 in my week 0 or pre week 1 rankings. I moved them up 5 spots to number 20. They blew out the Falcons. I wasn't necessarily surprised that they won, but the fashion in which they won was pretty impressive. I think Falcons are probably a bottom 5 team this year, but they barely gave up any points. I think Hurts looked really good. I think I like him more than most. They could win that division. Maybe people don't want to hear that, but this is still going to be a pretty bad division. I think Cowboys might be okay. Giants look terrible. They lost to the Broncos by 2 touchdowns. So I really think the Eagles are definitely in the mix here. They could win that division with 7 or 8 wins.
Wow. Okay. Cowboys aren't Super Bowl bound by any means. No?
I don't think so.
So,
like I said, the biggest thing the Cowboys have working against them is their head coach. You will not listen to me on that.
Yeah, no, after what Zeke had like 11 touches, I think it was, for 33 yards, I totally agree with you now on that moving forward. We do have another question.
What did I tell you all preseason about that?
Yeah, he likes to pass. And Dak's like on pace for like 7,500 yards or something ridiculous. But so Soup Boss asks, where do you have the Detroit Lions? I'm asking for Buck, not a friend.
So Buck, you're saying you and Soup aren't friends?
I guess not.
That's a bit of an interesting little shuffle at the bottom of my rankings.
Bottom.
Sorry about it. I have them at number 30. I mean, they showed some bite, as I'm sure their head coach Dan Campbell would love that. And kind of coming back from down 4 touchdowns to only down 1, and they had the ball at the end of the game, so that's pretty good, I guess. Goff looked okay. DeAndre Swift had over 100 yards rushing. I think there's some things there, but I'm not really. They got to show a bit more than a close loss after being blown out for most of the game than to really move up much more than that.
So let's look forward to next Tuesday when the Detroit Lions beat your number 8 ranked Green Bay Packers by 17 points, and it is just a smack in your face all game long. Do you move them up a couple spots? 20, 15, 10?
I try not to overreact over one win, but they'll definitely move out of 30, and that would definitely knock down Green Bay, certainly out of the top 10. I'm not sure how far they would plummet, but that'd be a bad loss.
Yeah, I predicted it, so it'd be a great loss. So many people there love your 30 out of 32. I'm getting LOL emojis and heart emojis. So
That's the way I see it.
You guys are all haters. Let's face it.
Great to feel the love. Thank you.
All right. Well, Mr. Wallace, thank you for joining us as always. We'll see you next week.
If
you would, just go ahead and send me your whole 32 list, and we'll post it on Facebook and share it out. And
yes.
Face shot it and whatnot and all that good stuff. But before we head out, tell people where they can find you again.
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at Bus Wallace. I'm also on Instagram there, all lowercase letters on the IG. The B and the W would be capitalized. I guess it doesn't matter. On Twitter, Belly Up Sports MLB page. I have some articles there. Also, Jay's Journal just started a new gig with them this week, so pretty fired up about that. And every Tuesday night with these guys talking NFL Power Rankings. So holla at your boy.
Holla at your boy. And all of his stuff is in our description, guys. And so, as always, we'll catch you next week. All right. Take care, bud.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. When we take a quick little break, on the other side of the break, we're going to talk Jalen Hurts. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckheister with the man, the myth. Oh, I need to flip the things around, Tori. Get out of my screen. There we go. There we go. Welcome back to the Man Hour. As we had Graeme Wallace here giving us his NFL Week 2 power rankings. So just to recap here, he had the San Francisco 49ers coming at 10, the Cleveland Browns at number 9, the Packers at 8, the Buffalo Bills at number 7. Coming at number 6, he had the Saints, cracking into the top 10, he had the Seattle Seahawks, the Steelers, the Rams, the Chiefs at number 2, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 1. So from week 1 to week 2, he dropped the Ravens and added the San Francisco 49ers into the mix. So with all that being said, guys, he will be here every Tuesday, 8:30 East Coast time here on the Man Out. And of course, I'll upload the clips the very next day. Let's say we do it about 2 o'clock. So the 2 o'clock hour, I will upload his power rankings there Wednesday afternoon. Speaking of Wednesday, every Wednesday at 10:45 a.m., here on youtube.com/Man Hour, we will be posting Mr. Tori Anderson's fantasy clips here. So if you guys got any fantasy football questions, slide into Tori Anderson's DMs on the old Twitter machine, manhour_Tori. Ask him any question you want, or you can You can Facebook them, or you can jump in the trash talk groups. We have hundreds of trash talk groups that you can join and follow, and it's a lot of fun over there on Facebook. But it is that time for Shop Talk, guys. We have about 10 minutes before up against the next break. So if you guys want to chat about anything, let us know. And Tori, let me bring you back on the screen and give the people just a little bit of preview of what your fantasy show is tomorrow.
My fantasy show tomorrow literally, quite literally, goes right hand in hand with cooking with Tori. Because as I did my fantasy show, I was cooking lunch for my coworkers and myself tomorrow. So go over who you should be starting, who you should be sitting, who to stay away from. I stayed away from cutting players. It's early in the season, so we'll get into that in a couple of weeks.
We will get into that, as Tori will cut Aaron Rodgers by week 3, 100% sure. But Tori, I think we should give the people a free episode on Wednesday. What do you think about that?
I like that. I like that idea.
So, guys, this Wednesday at 10:45 a.m. on youtube.com/man, we will be giving away this episode for free for Mr. Tori Anderson. I will share it to the trash talk groups. I will share it to hundreds of groups on Facebook. So if you're not following us on the Man Hour, you should be, and we will share that out for you guys. So Tori, let me go ahead and jump over here to the chat. There are tons of chats that I want to talk about here, and one thing is that Soup Boss was pretty adamant about the Cleveland Browns shouldn't have slipped down in the power ranking. So week 1, Mr. Wallace had them at number 6, and he dropped them down to number 9. Do you think that the Browns shouldn't have slipped down even though they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs?
I mean, you still lost. You got to slip a little bit,
right?
You know, especially when you were up 22-10, you failed to protect that lead. Granted, there again, like I said, you played the back-to-back AFC champions.
Yeah.
So, can I see it happen? Yeah, because literally elite playmakers at every skill position. So it happens. I don't care what team you are. It happens to the best of them.
Yeah, so on the flip side of the coin, let me be devil's advocate here. They were up 22-10 till midway through the fourth quarter, and then they botched a punt snap, and then Baker threw the interception, obviously to seal the game. But I mean, so they led for literally 3.5 quarters of that game. So do they really warrant getting what they dropped 3 spots? I mean, I could see 1, but 3. I mean, that seems a little aggressive, right? No,
I think he had it pretty close.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm just trying to be devil's advocate, 100%. So don't take any stock of what I'm saying, Suit Boss, in that whatsoever. And then
don't take any stock in anything Buck ever says.
And then of course we are throwing through Aaron Rodgers to stick to Jeopardy again. Man, why are Packer fans so quick to burn the bridge down? He literally had one bad game, and the whole team played. But is that just a Packer thing in general, or do you think just people are upset with the off season, like how it went?
Nah, it's a Packer fan thing in general. Overreaction is the number one thing ever when it comes to Packer fans. If you listen to WDUZ the fan,
yeah,
in Green Bay the day after a Packer loss, you would think that the apocalypse is upon us, and they're like, trade Rodgers, fire Devontae Adams is trash, fire LaFleur, and get rid of the GM, and they want to just burn everything down the day after a loss. It is ridiculous.
But then after a win, it's oh, Aaron Rodgers is the greatest, Devontae Adams is the MVP.
Yeah,
right. Okay, I got
oh, I'm sorry, boo. I really didn't mean to hurt you. I promise I'll never do it again. I really love you. I didn't mean to.
So there is another comment here. Drew comes out and says, which Drew is a member. Big shout out for Drew for being a member here on youtube.com/manhour. If you guys want to become a member, simply hit that join button after you hit the subscribe button. He says, I don't agree with the Bucs being number 1. They almost got beat by the Cowboys. So if that's the case, the Kansas City Chiefs almost got beat by the Browns. So should both those teams slide down, Tori, or can you really polish a team for almost losing?
Drew, I'm going to quote a famous man. To be the man, you got to beat the man.
Right.
Woo!
Ooh, Ric Flair.
That's Ric Flair.
Go ahead. My bad.
A W is a W.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter at the end of the day.
This is the great thing about NFL. Like there is, the only subjective matter in the NFL are these power rankings that mean absolutely nothing for playoffs or wins, losses. Like unlike the college game, like a win's a win. You don't have to have style points, right? You just have to simply win the game, and that is what's so great about the NFL game. Is like when you are 9-8 and you beat XYZ team. You are in the playoffs. The only thing that's really subjective, I guess, that's kind of like out of your hands, is the strength of schedule, like tiebreaker, like on a playoff, which that's like the third or fourth thing down, or it's something ridiculous. Couple more comments here. Drew, we will be talking about Hurts coming up here, so I don't want to talk too much about Hurts. And Don says, I've never been a fan of Aaron Rodgers. Don, let me ask you this question. Is Don a Packers fan? And so, are you not a fan of Aaron Rodgers leading you to the Super Bowl and leading you back-to-back NFC Championship games? Like, what are you not a fan of? Tori, how can somebody possibly hate Aaron Rodgers, that what he's done for the city and the team?
Every Bears fan hates Aaron Rodgers. Every Vikings fan hates Aaron Rodgers. You know, it's always like back in the day, we used to joke after the Packers won the Super Bowl, and like, oh, just think, Vikings fans, in another 10 years, you could have Aaron Rodgers instead of Favre.
True. Suit Boss comes out. Drew says, me neither, Don. Meaning, I guess they both hate Aaron Rodgers.
So the Packers are like the only team in the NFL Drew doesn't like.
But Drew's an admin on our Packers fan group page, so big shout out to Drew for being admins, like on those teams. And then Suit Boss comes out and says Bucks had a bad week 1. Last week they were still number 1. So yeah, a win's a win at the end of the day. A loss is a loss. Suit Boss also says you need to clarify it's Ric Flair. Either they know or the peasants get nothing.
Do I need to do the strut?
Do it. Let's see it. Do it in your apron without your shirt on.
Woo! Yeah, nobody wants to see that. If I do that, Greenpeace will show up at my house, start yelling "Free Willy," and drag me back to the ocean somewhere.
So before we head to our next break, Don says, yes, I am a Packer fan. I hate his arrogance.
He's not arrogant. He is a master level troll.
That is true. He is the type of person that sprinkles a little bit of information and lets you run with it and lets you think what you want to think. Honestly, he's just like a woman. Like you say this, and they're like,
I was gonna say it's like Buckheister telling us something and just letting us go with it.
Right. Drew says, no, I'm not a Packers fan. Packers suck. Okay. What? And then John comes back and says, what? Not arrogant. And then Suit Boss says, Olivia Munn dumped him. Enough said.
But she's still.
I don't know who she is.
But she's still. Olivia Munn's an actress.
But she's still what?
She tells a story about when those two were dating, and she was in Green Bay, and she's like, "It's not often I have to tell my agent that he has to hold on because the meat company's on the line, and I have to order my meat quick because there's a place just outside of Green Bay, Newski's meat market that she would always order meat from."
Yeah, and
they're good. So she's like, I'm not putting many people on hold except for them.
All right. So what Lamar? Oh, Lamar says it's time to take out the trash. So we got to take our next break, guys. On the other side of the break, we're going to talk some Jalen Hurts. We're going to talk some Andy Dalton, and we're going to sprinkle in a little bit of NBA and some Rona. We can't say the C word, Tori, so don't say the C word when we talk about the NBA. Also, guys,
Sharona.
Also coming up in a half hour, we have Would You Rather, which is brought to you by Thrive Fantasy as well. So head over to thrivefantasy.com, guys. Use promo code MANHOUR, and they'll match up to $50 on your first deposit. That's promo code MANHOUR at thrivefantasy.com. You can also download that on Android and iOS devices. We'll be right back, guys, here with some Jalen Hurts talk right after this. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhouse with Tori Anderson tonight. This section of Man Hour is brought to you by Yeats Sunglasses. That is YEETZ.com. You can go to Yeats.com and pick up your sunglasses. Use promo code MANHOUR, and they'll take 10% off of your order. That is Yeats Sunglasses. So, guys, I'll be making a promo video here. Should be next week when I should get that done. So, be ready to laugh. So speaking of being ready to laugh, Mr. Tori Anderson, go ahead and bring you back on screen here so that people can laugh at that beautiful beard that you got. I'm totally kidding. You look great. I love the way you look always. But we're going to talk a little Jalen. We are going to talk some Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, Jalen Hurts had a great week one. I believe he was in top 5 in fantasy points after week 1. Tori, can we realistically expect Jalen Hurts to perform like this week after week after week? For who? Oh, I don't.
I had them as a potential dark horse, playoff team. But that was before they traded Julio. And after that, I said, nope, they're going to go into rebuild mode sooner or later. So
Yeah, so unfortunately, Tori, nobody heard you because I had you muted. Thank you for Soup Boss to letting me know that you guys were muted. I apologize for that. So basically,
That was for our deaf people, so they could just read my lips.
so basically, what Tori said is that Jalen Hurts is not going to have a repeat for per performance week after week after week after week because of the 49ers defense. So to catapult on what Tori has saying, look at their schedule moving forward, Tori. They play the 49ers, Lisa's at home, so maybe they'll have that coast-to-coast advantage. It is a 1 o'clock game, 9 times out of, or actually, it's not 9 times, it's 7 times out of 10. A team traveling from the West Coast to the East Coast that plays that 1 o'clock game loses, so they do got that favor happening. But then they play the Dallas Cowboys, a very much improved defense on the Dallas Cowboys side on Monday night game. Then they play the Kansas City Chiefs game. The Honey Badgers should be back in shape by that point. And then they play the Bucks, Raiders, Lions, and Chargers, Broncos, Saints. So, yeah, I don't see a lot of cupcake wins. Maybe one versus the Panthers, but that they're traveling to Carolina. And every game when you travel, like you got to give, if it's an evenly matched, you got to give the nod to the home team. And Tori, you had him going 0-17, right?
I did.
Yeah.
One of them, the first pick, I remember I had him going 2-15.
Yeah.
And then this one I had him going 0-17.
I can realistically, Tori, right now only see 3 wins on their schedule. So 1 that they beat Atlanta, and then 1 versus the Giants and 1 versus the Jets. That is it. I mean, and it is a knock. It is not a knock on Jalen Hurts as a player. It's just they play a pretty tough schedule, and I think that's why he will not be able to repeat the performances that he had in week 1. It's just it is unheard of. But let's say in theory, Tori, we are thinking, what if, right? What if Jalen Hurts does average 260 yards passing, and he's throwing a couple touchdowns every game? Can the Eagles legitimately be a 509 win team?
I just don't know if they have the defense. Well, they got a decent defense, but I still think that's pushing it.
Fletcher Cox is pretty good. I do like
Fletcher Cox is one of the best defensive linemen in all the NFL. I really like him. The thing is, I've liked him since the day he got drafted because he said the one thing that he said when he got drafted was, "I'm going to work every single day to be a better football player every single day. So until I am to the best at my position." And that's kind of what he did. So I respect that a lot. This isn't as good as their 2018 defense was, but it's still a decent defense. I still think that's a little bit more of an Achilles heel. I think they're maybe a year away.
So what is the weak point of the Eagles? Let's say the weak point isn't Jalen Hurts. He is going to perform at a above average level, like what we saw against Atlanta. What is the weak point for the Philadelphia Eagles? Is it the running game? Is it the receiving core? Is it offensive line? What is the weak point?
I would say right now it's probably their offensive line and receiving core.
Can they address that with the free agent pickup before week 8 or whatever trade deadline is?
I don't think so. That's pretty late to bring somebody in to learn your scheme.
Right.
And that's the thing. That's why you don't see a ton of trades in the NFL, is because it's bringing somebody into a scheme that they're not going to pick up until 7 or 8 weeks later. And by that time, it's the end of the season to really help your team. So unless you're a superstar, they are probably not making a deal for you.
Yeah, 100% correct. And I feel like we see more trades on the defensive side of the ball than the offensive side of the ball, because defense, you can only run so many blitzes and 4-3s. It's just basically terminology once you get to the college level, unfortunately, on the defensive side of the ball. So let's go ahead and totally transition gears here, shift into that reverse, flip it around, do a complete 180, and go from outside into indoor. And we're going to talk a little bit of NBA, Mr. Tori Anderson. The NBA come out and said that they will not require players to get vaccinated to play basketball in the 2021 season. We've seen the NFL mandate this. We're seeing employers mandate this. And I believe Major League Baseball loosely has some type of mandate as well. You being a vaccinated person yourself, I am not yet. I'm getting a lot of pressure from inside. We'll kind of keep that on the down low in an after show thing. But are you okay with the NBA not requiring vaccinations to play in the 2021 NBA season.
I find it baffling because they went through so many precautions to keep people in the bubble, to keep people safe. Like, I find it baffling that they're not requiring it. I don't know if they just think that they have enough numbers wise that it's not going to be that bad for them already. Because obviously they've probably got the data on who's vaccinated and who's not.
Right.
So like if they say 80% of the league's vaccinated, yeah, we don't need to mandate it. I'm okay with that. Now, if it said, well, only 20% of our leagues vaccinated, we're not going to mandate it. I probably have a little bit of issue with that because now you're putting everybody at risk then. So, but if you have 80% of them, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to take a different approach on this, Tori. So let's take the color aspect at it, like just like out of it. I am just a voice that you don't that you don't know what color I am. Like it's like it is not going to be racist or derogatory or like anything whatsoever. But we've seen in the NBA the last 2 seasons since the whole Breonna Taylor, George Floyd thing, they have taken this stance of like, we are going to support the community. We are doing this to show the support to our fans, and because let's be honest, most black people are NBA fans. I believe there's more black NBA fans than there are white like NBA fans. It's just because like you can drive down a street on a basketball court and it's probably 80% black kids, right, playing ball just because they're. Let me. That is what they do. That is the culture that they see, and they all want to hoop. So when the NBA is not mandatoring that you take a vaccine, one of the biggest fights that we're fighting with the whole Rona thing that is the minority people not getting vaccinated. And if the NBA wants to really push their agenda of supporting the Black Lives Matter, the George Floyd, the Breonna Taylors of like of the world, why not support this COVID thing as well? I said it. Hopefully we don't get shut down. But like
you screwed up, Mike.
Yeah. But like what I'm trying to say here is like these. I hate to say the word minorities, but you know that's what they're referred to for whatever reason. The non-white people are not getting vaccinated for whatever XYZ reason, and now that the NBA is not mandating it, why are they going to do that? Because their heroes are not going to get vaccinated. You know, I don't know if LeBron James is vaccinated or not. I could care less. But kid down the street that wears LeBron James shoes every day to like school, he does he's like he'll be like, well, LeBron James got the shot, I better get the shot, right? So that is what is baffling to me, just because they've been such a social injustice and like what's the word I'm looking for, like a community activist justice. Right? You know, they've been trying to push their agenda.
That's what I said, but that's where you got to look at the stats. Like they may have like 80% already, and that's why they're saying they're not doing it.
But
like,
here's the thing, though.
There's no need to do it.
But here's the thing: when you say we are not requiring, that means like in my head, when I hear something that isn't required, it's because it is not that effective. It is not helping to stop the curve or whatever it is, right? Like it is not working. So I mean, like if something is required, like, hey, it is required me to sign this piece of paper to like work, you know, so because clearly like I need to do it. Now, I don't care what side of the fence you are on whatsoever. I don't care. Like I'm totally impartial about the vaccine and the whole Rona thing. Like I could care less. But when it comes to this, I think the NBA has to address it, right? I mean, they have to like, I don't know. Like they have to, I feel like, I mean, I hate to say that they have to make it mandatory, but they have to make it mandatory. I mean, that's just the way it comes down to. They have a database that keeps track of who has been vaccinated. So Drew comes out and says they do have a database that keeps a track of who's been vaccinated. Now, Drew, are you referring to just the NBA or the world in general? Because I mean, I don't think they. I mean, Obviously,
the NBA does. I'm sure they do.
yeah. So sorry to go off on that little rant, guys, but it's just like, but as soon as I saw that news, like I was kind of baffled by the whole situation here. So let's go ahead and do a complete 180 again, Tori. Go from the inside back to the outside, where they are requiring people to get vaccinated unless you're Cole Beasley. He's like, hell no, get out of here with that. But with that being said, Andy Dalton and Justin Fields, the quarterback controversy has been brewing all offseason. Mr. Brandon BC Combs is just like, Justin Fields is our guy. He's starting by week 4, yada, yada, yada. And I went back and watched the game. Like, I have the NFL package where, like, I can watch the games again. And I watched every offensive snap for the Chicago Bears. And I am safe to say that Andy Dalton did not have that great a game. I mean, like, he missed some wide open guys. He missed some. The throws that he made, they were accurate, but you know they weren't a very tight spiral. So, Tori, is the time ticking on Andy Dalton in the 2021 season or is Justin Fields going to take over?
The timer was ticking on Andy Dalton as soon as they selected Justin Fields. Personally, I think they're going to try to keep him off the field, Justin off the field as much as they can this season, because I think that's honestly the smart thing to do. I think that they intentionally try to kind of fudge the season up, get another top 10 pick, get another good offensive young lineman, and really set Justin up, because they've got the rest of the skill possessions are set on that roster.
Yep.
They only need to build that offensive line for him. And I think it's the smart play to just kind of sit back, relax, bide your time this year, get another offensive lineman, and let Justin go next year. It's like I said, as much as it pains me to say that as a Packer fan, Justin Fields is going to be a hell of a quarterback.
Sorry, my bad.
Well, and Andy Dalton, Andy Dalton's going to be Andy Dalton,
right?
But it's a completely different game plan though. If Justin was in there, I guarantee if Justin Fields was in there, they are blitzing him left and right,
right?
Because he's a rookie quarterback. He's not going to be able to make all the reads that an NFL veteran could. And that is why, you see the different looks, and like Justin was successful. They didn't really game plan for that. They probably did. They're like, it's 2 or 3 plays.
Yeah. Just to add to your point there and to catapult things is like, yes, I do think if Justin Fields would have started week 1, they would have blitzed the hell out of him. Like, I think the Ravens ran like 18 blitzes last night on Monday night. I'm pretty sure the Bears would have probably had at least 50% of the plays blitzes on them. They would have brought five to six guys every play. Not because they don't respect his arm strength or his arm ability. It's just the speed of the game is a lot faster from preseason to regular season. And we heard Justin Fields speak in preseason. This game is moving slow. Like, I was expecting it to be faster. NFL defenses heard that. That is bulletin board material. They are like, I'm coming at you full speed, blitz, 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 edge blitz, safety blitz. I'm going to man up and make you beat me on the corners every freaking play. So, yes, the Chicago Bears made the correct choice of starting Andy Dalton. The good thing about Andy Dalton is he is a very Alex Smith-esque type of quarterback. Very level, very few ups and very few downs. But that's not what Chicago Bears fans want. They want up. They want a Lamar Jackson-esque type guy, and sadly,
it's because they've been 30 years of down.
Right. So guys, just be happy that you have Justin Fields for the next 10, 15, 25 years. Just let him sit this year, just simply because of what Tori said. You have to build that offensive line. Who was the Houston quarterback that took 100 sacks in 3 years?
David Carr. It was over that.
Yeah. It was
David Carr.
David Carr, and he was a good quarterback, right? But when you get hit in the mouth 100 times, or
89 times, he got sacked 89 times in 1 year.
Yeah, and that's 89. Not counting just the hits, right? I mean, that's sacks.
That's not just hits.
Don't let Justin Fields be that guy. So Andy Dalton knows his role as a Chicago Bears quarterback. It is to teach Justin Fields how to be a professional. It is teach him how to prepare for the season. It is different from preparing from high school to college and college to the NFL. This is your job. You be putting in 8, 9, 10 hours of just watching film by yourself at home. This is hitting the weights after practice, before practice, eating right, et cetera, et cetera. It is just absolutely asinine. So Soup Boss, I do see your comment there, and he says, why do quarterbacks get picked in the first round and they are expected to sit, but any other position they expect to play day one and make an impact? Tori, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first on that one?
So to me, it's easy. You're the quarterback. You are the field general. If you can sit for a year and learn that offense, learn the plays, watch the plays. If you have a good veteran, I mean, hell, it doesn't even got to be a good veteran quarterback. A veteran quarterback that's head smart, like Andy Dalton, it's a completely different set of rules then at that point, because, it's proven. Like I've said, it's proven that quarterbacks that sit generally tend to do better. It worked for Steve McNair. It's worked for Aaron Rodgers. Why? Everybody wants to say it. The first round pick needs to be an impact player. It needs to be an impact player. No, it does. It does eventually. It doesn't have to be that rookie year, though, exactly. Unless you are picking 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32.
So on the flip side of that, the hardest position to play at any level is the quarterback position. The quarterbacks are the best of the best on the field. So I coached a quarterback back in high school. He was easily probably a top 10 quarterback in the state of Indiana. He did not get recruited by one Division I college, not because he was not good, because he will probably be in the NFL, to be honest. You draft or you recruit one quarterback for the next 4 years for your team. So with that being said, you cannot throw a quarterback into the fire simply because of the evolutions of the offense. You are now reading 2 routes into 4 routes into 5 routes into, it's just the speed of the game. Now, why do other positions translate over into the NFL better than the quarterback? Let's take wide receiver, for example. How many routes can you run as a wide receiver? You got an in route, slant route, corner, post, fly. That's about it. That doesn't change from Pee Wee to the NFL. Now, your route technique will change, but the routes you run, they are still there. Offensive linemen, zone blocking is still zone blocking at the college level, high school level, and the NFL level. They are all exactly the same. Linebacker play, you tackle the guy, right? You pop him in his mouth, you put him on his dick. Simple as that. Cornerback, you are man-to-man. Beat me if you can. The quarterback play is the only position that elevates skill by skill by skill. Fifth grade, what do? You find the tallest kid on the field that can catch, run a slant route and gain 10 yards. 7th grade, you maybe throw some out routes and some corner routes. Maybe run some RPOs. High school, you're running RPOs and 2-man routes. Usually not reading a whole lot. You're saying, this is my guy. I'm going to throw him the ball. College, you can read 3 guys, to one side, like you weren't going translating over. NFL, you have to have 5 reads. You have to have you have to have your number 1, you have to have your number 2, you have to have your check down. You have to figure out who the Mike linebacker is, and now it's not easy. Now you have number 7 playing Mike, not 52, right? It is such a complex game, and that's why quarterbacks need to sit their first year. I don't care if it's a 1st round pick, 6th round pick, 7th round pick. Sitting the first year as a quarterback, Tory, is so beneficial to everybody. Tom Brady, yes, he sat his first year, right? Well, he sat the first 9 weeks or whatever it was, right. but he's still sat. Patrick Mahomes sat. When Patrick Mahomes came into the NFL, he was not an NFL ready quarterback. If Patrick Mahomes would have played that first year, he would have been a bust, Tori. I guarantee it. He would have not been the Patrick Mahomes that he is right now. Why? Because Alex, he learned behind a veteran, a solid veteran, and Alex Smith, and he learned how to play at the game. That's why quarterbacks need to. That's why it doesn't matter what position you are on the field. The quarterback player needs to sit 1 year. Simple as that. Sorry to go off on the right.
I agree.
Tori.
No, it's true. It is 100% true.
So, and then Soup Boss comes out and says, what better way to add to your education but experience? Let's do them both. Because, okay, Soup Boss, it is great to have that education and the experience. Yes, 100%. But what if that experience breaks your leg? You aren't going to be learning anything for the rest of the year, right? Just because you'll be rehabbing that leg. So that's, and you can say the same thing about a safety and a receiver, yada, yada, yada. Learning is, you already know the game when you're a receiver, a lineman, a linebacker, etc. You already know the game. Drew says, Buck, that's an insult to Alex Smith. How is that an insult to Alex Smith? I was basically praising Alex Smith. Like I said, Patrick Mahomes wouldn't have been the quarterback he was without Alex Smith. Isn't that kind of what I said, Tori? Like, I mean,
Yes.
I didn't drop his name by any means, but that's kind of what I said. But I don't know. But we are up against the break, Tori. Sorry, I need to call 911. Cindy, call 911, baby. My heart rate's up. I got excited. But guys, we are going to Soup Boss. He says they can break their leg any damn play. You don't bench players in order to save them from injury. I'm not saying save them from injury. I'm saying then you need to learn. I don't know. This is
I don't agree with it.
Soup Boss. You'll be on a segment here. What was this segment called? I forgot what we're going to name it. Sloppy seconds or something. Yes.
No.
No.
Soup. No, it's soup. No, I think we should call it Soup Kitchen.
Soup Kitchen. Campbell's Soup Kitchen. But guys, we are up against the break here. That segment of Man Hour was brought to you by Yeats Sunglasses. Head over to Yeats.com. Use promo code Man Hour and you'll give the 10% discount on sunglasses. Guys, they have great sunglasses. Patrick Mahomes wears these Yeats sunglasses. Did you know that, Tori? How you do?
So did Macho Man Randy Savage, and they looked awful then.
Oh, hell yeah, brother. All right, guys, we'll be right back here on the Man Hour. Stay tuned.
Ooh, yeah, give me some Yeats.
Love it. And welcome back to Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeye along with Tori Anderson tonight. Head over to manhourradio.com. If you've missed any part of the show whatsoever, you can check us out on podcast form right there on manhourradio.com. Or you can simply download the episode on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and of course, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts as well. Or you can check us out on Big X Sports Radio 96.1 right here in Jeffersonville, Indiana, every Monday through Friday at 4 to 6 p.m. East Coast time. Simply head over to bigxsportsradio.com is where you can check that out. Or if you're here in the Indiana area, 96.1. You can also catch us up on Belly Up Sports, 313 The Flash, over in the UK, as Combs says, eating tea and crumpets, and Unhinged Radio, our newest platform that you guys can check us out on as well. So, Tori, we've had a pretty exciting show. Mr. BC is in the chat himself. So we're going to open it up to Shot Talk here in the last 5 or 10 minutes of the show. We were going to go Would You Rather, but we'll push it back till tomorrow when Combs is here. Combs wants to come out and says, "Oh, good God, what are they saying?" We are saying all the facts there, Combs. We are telling you that Justin Fields needs to sit. As simple as that. If you missed it, jump back on the clips at youtube.com/manhour. Hit that subscribe button. Check out the clips. I'll upload that clip 8 o'clock in the morning. So it'll be there all day for you, Combs. You can just sit on it and bower on it and spin and whatnot. And then he comes out and says, I take one night off, and I see that the title, and I just shake my damn head. So, Tori, I think we both said that Lamar Jackson cannot carry a team, right?
Correct.
No,
I said he's putting too much pressure on himself trying to carry the team right now.
Right.
He will come back to earth and realize he has help.
Yeah, so therefore, Lamar Jackson cannot carry a team, Combs. And we saw it last night. He cannot put a team on his shoulder and carry his team to the promised land. Yes, he did it year number 2 when they went, 13-3, Tori, and he won the MVP. Yeah, he definitely put that team on his
14-2.
14-2. I'm sorry. Don't want to take away that one win because it was definitely a great season. And what he had, 3,500 yards passing and 1,200 yards rushing. I mean, he definitely had a spectacular season and put that team on his back. But what has he done for you since? He cannot carry a team.
He won a playoff game last year.
But did he carry that team to that playoff win? I would say yes, kind of, because he did have some big plays. Yeah. But the reason why he had those big plays because the receivers were actually there to help him. They weren't injured, and he had a running game still. So, Combs, that's why I say Lamar Jackson cannot carry a team. But you know who can carry a team? Aaron Rodgers can carry a team, Mr. Tori Anderson.
He can.
Do you think he's going to carry your guys' Packers over the Lions next week?
Absolutely, he 100% will. He will 100% carry them over. I muted you before you could mute me.
Yeah, see, the joke's on you is like, you can mute me, but they still hear me on the other side, so sorry about your luck.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So
if you guys... Watch this.
Combs says, how do you eat your tea? Like this, Combs. You go.
Spitters are quitters.
Yeah, spitters are quitters. Combs says this is what they do every time he loses. Then he wins eight straight games, and you say nothing. Streak snacks, you trash him again. Typical Packers fan, right?
I can admit when we had a bad game. That's the thing. I'm even keel about it, though.
You are. You are probably the most level-headed fan I've ever met, honestly.
I look at things logically.
Right. I don't.
I'm like Spock.
Oh, did you guys hear what Lamar Jackson said?
He said Tori Anderson's the greatest football player ever.
He said, I am complete trash, and you guys need to end the show tonight.
No.
Tori, send us out.
Man, our nation. Rise up.